The massive ship appeared on a quiet Tuesday morning, casting a shadow over half of Nevada. Its dark hull blocked out the sun like an artificial eclipse, bringing an eerie twilight to the desert below. The world held its breath as the vessel, nearly 3 miles long, hung motionless in the sky. Hours earlier, the aliens had announced themselves on every electronic device on Earth. They called themselves the Watchers, and they came bearing a gift. The message was simple. They had chosen Earth to receive their blessing. Tom Martinez stood in the crowded control room at Area 51, his coffee gone cold in his hands. As the lead engineer for unusual aircraft, he thought he had seen everything. He was wrong. The screens around him showed different angles of the alien ship, its surface covered in what looked like battle scars and ancient damage. "It's a joke," Kate Wilson said beside him, her eyes fixed on the largest monitor. "They're giving us their garbage." As the base's weapons expert, she had already spotted the marks of weapons fire and explosive damage across the ship's hull. A voice crackled through the speakers. "This is General Richards. All key personnel to the main briefing room. Now." Tom and Kate joined the stream of people hurrying through the underground corridors. The briefing room was already packed when they arrived, with military officers and scientists squeezed in shoulder to shoulder. The air felt thick with tension and excitement. General Richards stood at the front, his face grim. "The Watchers have made their intentions clear. They're gifting us one of their old warships. They say it's a gesture of goodwill to help us join the galactic community." He paused, looking around the room. "They think we're primitive. They think we're simple. And they think this ship is worthless." The room erupted in murmurs and whispers. Tom leaned forward, studying the new images appearing on the screen behind the general. The ship's design was unlike anything he had ever seen, with curves and angles that seemed to defy physics. "We're forming a new organization," the general continued. "The International Ship Research Initiative, ISRI. Every nation is contributing their best people. This isn't just American anymore. This is humanity's project." Over the next few days, Tom watched as they brought the ship down. It took 20 massive anti-gravity platforms, technology shared by the Watchers, to guide it to the specially prepared hangar in the desert. The ship's size was even more overwhelming on the ground. Its dark surface seemed to swallow light, and strange symbols marked its hull in patterns that hurt the eyes if you looked at them too long. The Watchers sent 2 observers, tall beings in environmental suits that hid their true forms. They walked through the facility like they owned it, their movements smooth and artificial. They called the ship the Discarded, but among the human workers, it quickly gained a different name, the Coffin. "They're lying about something," Kate told Tom one evening as they studied the initial scans. "No one gives away a warship, even a broken one, without a reason." Tom nodded, but his attention was on the energy readings in front of him. Something wasn't adding up. The ship showed no power signatures, but the internal structure was intact. It was like looking at a computer that was turned off. Everything was there, waiting. The first teams to enter the ship reported vast, empty corridors and dead control panels. The Watchers had provided basic schematics, showing engine rooms, weapons systems, and command centers, all supposedly burnt out and useless. But Tom noticed something odd. The ship's design had redundancies in backup systems that made no sense for its supposed purpose. 1 month into the project, Tom made his first breakthrough. He was in what the schematics called an auxiliary power node, running standard tests, when his equipment picked up a faint quantum signature. It was so weak that most instruments would have missed it, but it was there, a flutter of energy, like a heartbeat. "It's not dead," he told the project leaders the next morning. "It's sleeping." He showed them the readings, explained how the ship's systems weren't destroyed but dormant. The Watchers in the room became very still when he presented his findings. That night, Tom couldn't sleep. He sat in his small office, surrounded by diagrams and test results, when Kate burst in. "You need to see this," she said, dropping a tablet on his desk. I've been analyzing the weapon mounts. They're not standard military design. They're research models. This wasn't just a warship. It was an experimental ship. The pieces started coming together. The redundant systems weren't redundant at all. They were test systems. The strange patterns on the hull weren't decoration but sensor arrays. The Coffin wasn't a discarded warship. It was an advanced research vessel disguised as one. The Watchers began spending more time observing their work. They answered questions with practiced politeness, but their answers were always vague, always slightly off. They seemed especially interested whenever the human teams reported failures or setbacks, almost pleased when things didn't work. 3 months into the project, during a routine scan, something changed. Tom was in the main engineering section with a team of international scientists when the ship's walls flickered. Just for a second, the dead metal seemed to come alive with patterns of light. The Watchers rushed in minutes later, insisting it was a sensor malfunction. But Tom had seen something in that moment, not just light, but data. The ship had responded to their presence, not to their tools or their tests, but to them, to humans. That evening, in a secure meeting room deep underground, Tom shared his theory with General Richards and the project leaders. The ship isn't compatible with the Watchers, he explained. That's why they think it's dead. But it's responding to us. Something about human biology, maybe our brainwave patterns, matches what the ship was designed for. The general leaned back in his chair, his expression thoughtful. Are you saying we can wake it up? I'm saying it's already waking up, Tom replied. And I don't think the Watchers ever knew what it could really do. As he left the meeting, Tom passed by the ship's main entrance. In the dim light, the vast hull loomed above him like a sleeping giant. But now he knew better. It wasn't a coffin they had been given. It was a chrysalis, waiting for the right moment to transform. And tomorrow, they would begin to unlock its true potential. Tom's discovery changed everything. The vast hangar that housed the alien ship buzzed with new energy as teams worked around the clock, testing his theory about human brainwave patterns. The Watchers watched them with what seemed like amusement, probably thinking they were wasting their time. Kate spent her nights studying the weapon systems, which were unlike anything in the Watchers' known arsenal. Look at this, she told Tom one evening, pointing to a complex diagram on her tablet. These aren't just weapon ports. They're more like reality anchors. They don't shoot things. They change space itself. The breakthrough came on a quiet Sunday morning. Tom had been working with Dr. Anna Roberts, a quantum physicist, to map the ship's neural pathways. They had brought in volunteers to test different brainwave patterns, looking for any response from the ship's systems. The first few hundred tests showed nothing. Then Mike Foster, the security chief, walked past their testing area. The lights in the corridor flickered, and every sensor in the room lit up like a Christmas tree. They quickly pulled him into their lab. I don't understand, Mike said, sitting in the testing chair with sensors attached to his head. I'm just a regular guy. Why would the ship respond to me? Anna studied the readings with growing excitement. It's not about being special. It's about being human. Our brains process quantum information differently than the Watchers. We can see patterns they can't, patterns this ship was designed to work with. They worked through the night, mapping the connections between Mike's brainwave patterns and the ship's systems. By morning, they had proof. Humans could interface with the ship in ways the Watchers never could. The ship wasn't dead. It had just been waiting for the right pilots. The Watchers became nervous when they saw the increased activity. They started asking more questions, spending more time observing the tests. But they had underestimated human ingenuity and their ability to keep secrets. While the official teams ran obvious tests that showed little progress, a secret group worked in sealed chambers deep within the ship. They made breakthrough after breakthrough. The ship's quantum core wasn't just an engine. It was a living computer that could sync with human consciousness. It's like the ship was made for us, Tom explained to General Richards during a secure briefing. Every system, every circuit, it's all designed to work with human thought patterns. The Watchers couldn't use it because their minds work differently. They see reality in straight lines. We see it in waves and possibilities. Kate's weapons research revealed even more surprises. The ship's defensive systems weren't broken. They were dormant, waiting for minds that could grasp their true purpose. These aren't just shields, she explained, pointing to complex holographic displays. They're reality bubbles. They don't stop attacks. They'd prevent them from ever happening by shifting probability itself. The first real test came 2 months after their initial breakthrough. They had kept their progress hidden from the Watchers, showing them only failed experiments and setbacks. But in a shielded chamber at the heart of the ship, they were ready to wake it up. Mike sat in what they now knew was the control chair, while Tom and Anna monitored the systems. Kate stood ready at the weapons console, though they hoped they wouldn't need it. The room hummed with tension and excitement. "Remember," Tom said, "just like we practiced. Don't try to control it. Let your mind flow with it." Mike nodded and closed his eyes. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the chair began to glow with a soft blue light. Patterns of energy raced across the walls like liquid lightning. The ship's quantum core, dormant for so long, pulsed with new life. Screens and holographic displays sprang to life around them, showing systems and capabilities the Watchers had never mentioned. The ship wasn't just a warship, it was a research vessel designed to explore the boundaries of reality itself. "Holy shit," Kate whispered, staring at her weapons display. "These aren't weapons, they're universe manipulation tools. This ship can literally rewrite the laws of physics in a localized area." The ship's systems integrated seamlessly with Mike's consciousness, showing him visions of space and time that no human had ever seen before. Through his mind, they could see the ship's true purpose. It was designed to explore and manipulate the quantum fabric of reality. But their success couldn't remain hidden forever. Alarms blared throughout the facility as the ship's power signature spiked. The Watchers would know something had changed. "Shut it down," General Richards ordered through the comm system. "We're not ready for them to know yet." As they powered down the systems, Tom noticed something strange in the data streams. The ship wasn't just responding to them, it was learning from them. Each interaction made it more attuned to human thought patterns. It was evolving. That night, while the Watchers demanded explanations for the power spike, the human team met in secret. They had discovered something that changed everything they thought they knew about the ship. "It's not just that we can use it," Anna explained, showing them complex quantum equations. "We make it stronger. Our way of thinking, our creativity. It amplifies the ship's capabilities beyond its original design specs." "How much stronger?" General Richards asked. Tom brought up a series of calculations. "Based on our tests, at least 10 times more powerful than anything in the Watchers' fleet. And that's just the beginning. The more we work with it, the more powerful it becomes." The implications were staggering. The Watchers hadn't given them a piece of junk. They had accidentally handed humanity the most powerful ship ever created. A ship that only humans could use to its full potential. As they left the meeting, Kate pulled Tom aside. "They're going to find out sooner or later," she said. "And when they do," Tom nodded, "we need to be ready." He looked up at the vast ship, its hull now humming with hidden power. "They thought they were giving us a coffin. Instead, they gave us the key to the universe." The next few days would change everything. But for now, in the quiet of night, the ship pulsed with newfound energy, a silent promise of what was to come. The real test wasn't just waking up the ship, it was preparing for what would happen when the Watchers realized exactly what they had done. The transformation began slowly at first. Tom and his team worked in secret, making small changes that the Watchers wouldn't notice. They added Earth computers to the ship's systems, finding ways to blend human and alien technology. Each change made the ship stronger, more responsive to human control. Kate made the first major breakthrough while studying Earth's oceans. Water, she announced during a midnight meeting. The ship's quantum core can use water as fuel. The watchers never realized because their worlds are mostly dry. She showed them the calculations. We're sitting on an ocean of fuel, and they don't even know it. The discovery changed everything. They began installing water processing systems throughout the ship, carefully disguising them as basic life support modifications. The watchers watched with their usual air of superiority, clearly thinking the humans were just making their new toy more comfortable. Tom worked with Anna to develop a new kind of shield system. They found that human intuition, the ability to guess what would happen next, could be amplified by the ship's quantum processors. The shield didn't just block attacks, it predicted them, shifting the ship's position in space-time microseconds before impact. It's like having a sixth sense, Mike explained after testing the new system. I can feel attacks coming before they happen. The ship takes my hunches and turns them into reality. The test results were beyond anything they had hoped for. The predictive shield could stop weapons that hadn't even been fired yet. The watchers became more agitated as the ship changed. Its hull, once dark and lifeless, now rippled with subtle patterns of energy. They demanded explanations, but the human team had prepared for this. They showed them modified data, carefully crafted to hide the true extent of their progress. Captain James Walker arrived on a stormy Tuesday, chosen to be the ship's first official commander. He was a tall, quiet man with a reputation for staying cool under pressure. The moment he stepped into the ship, every system lit up like it was greeting an old friend. "The ship likes him," Anna said, watching the energy readings spike. "His brainwave patterns are perfect for deep space navigation." She had been right. Some humans were naturally better at interfacing with the ship's systems. James could link with the navigation computers in ways that even Mike couldn't match. The transformation accelerated after that. With James coordinating their efforts, they began making bigger changes. The ship's hull, which they had thought was simple metal, turned out to be a massive sensor array. They learned to tune it to human brainwaves, creating a neural network that spread throughout the entire vessel. "It's not just a ship anymore," Tom told General Richards during their weekly briefing. "It's becoming something new. Something that's neither human nor alien, but both." The general nodded, understanding the implications. They were creating something unprecedented in the galaxy. Kate's weapons team made the most startling discovery yet. The ship's quantum weapons, which they had thought were simple energy projectors, could actually bend reality itself. "Watch this," she said, demonstrating on a test asteroid. The weapon fired, and instead of destroying the rock, it simply rewrote the laws of physics around it. The asteroid turned to gas, then reformed as crystal, then vanished entirely. "We can change reality in a bubble around the ship," she explained. "Gravity, time, space, they're all just suggestions to these weapons." The implications were staggering. They hadn't just repaired the ship, they had unleashed its true potential. The watchers must have sensed something was wrong. They began conducting their own scans, trying to understand the changes they were seeing. But the ship, now partly alive with human consciousness, helped hide its own transformation. It showed them what they expected to see: a primitive crew making crude modifications to technology they'd barely understood. Water tanks were installed in secret compartments throughout the ship, feeding the quantum core with an endless supply of fuel. Earth's oceans contained enough power to run the ship for centuries. The watchers never realized that every drop of water contained potential energy that their technology had never been able to tap. James spent more and more time in the control chair, learning to merge his consciousness with the ship's systems. "It's like dreaming while awake," he told them. "I can feel every part of the ship, every system, every change in the quantum field around us. It's becoming part of me." The ship needed a new name. They couldn't keep calling it the Coffin, not now that it pulsed with life and power. After much discussion, they settled on Phoenix, the mythical bird that rose from its own ashes to become something greater. One night, as they prepared for the first full test flight, Tom found Kate staring at the ship through the hangar's massive windows. "They're going to try to take it back," she said quietly. "When they realize what we've done, they'll want their gift back." Tom nodded. They had all known this day would come. "Let them try," he said. "The Phoenix isn't their ship anymore. It never really was. It was waiting for us all along." The next morning, they began final preparations for the test flight. The Phoenix's hull gleamed with hidden power, its surface shifting with patterns of light that looked almost alive. The water processing systems hummed quietly, converting Earth's most common resource into unimaginable power. James sat in the control chair, his mind merging with the ship's consciousness. Mike monitored the defense systems, ready for anything. Kate stood at her weapons station, though the weapons were now so advanced that calling them weapons seemed almost primitive. The Watchers watched from their observation post, still unaware of the true magnitude of what humanity had achieved. They thought they were about to watch a simple test flight. Instead, they were about to witness the birth of something unprecedented in the galaxy. A ship that combined the best of human and alien technology, powered by Earth's oceans and guided by human consciousness. As the final checks were completed, Tom looked around at his team. They had done the impossible. They had taken a gift meant to humiliate them and turned it into humanity's greatest achievement. The Phoenix wasn't just a ship anymore. It was humanity's key to the stars and a message to the galaxy. Never underestimate human ingenuity. The Watchers showed their true colors on the day of the test flight. As the Phoenix prepared to launch, 3 massive warships appeared in Earth's orbit. Their message was simple and cold. "The experiment is over. Surrender the vessel." In the control room, James sat calmly in his chair while alarms blared around them. Through his neural link with the ship, he could feel the enemy vessels positioning themselves for attack. The Phoenix's quantum sensors mapped their every move, predicting their likely strategies. "They never meant for us to keep it," Kate said, her hands moving across the weapons console. "We were just their lab rats. They wanted to see if we could fix their broken toy." The anger in her voice matched the mood of everyone in the room. Tom worked quickly at his station, activating all the systems they had kept hidden from the Watchers. "They're in for a surprise," he said grimly. "They have no idea what this ship can really do now." General Richards's voice came through the comm system. "The Watchers just told us everything. They're at war with something they call the Swarm. They wanted us to repair this ship so they could use it as a weapon. They thought we were too primitive to unlock its real potential." The enemy ships launched their first attack. Beams of pure energy lanced down from orbit, aimed at the facility's defense shields. But James had sensed the attack coming. Before the beams could hit, the Phoenix's predictive shield system activated. Reality itself seemed to bend around the facility, and the energy weapons struck empty air. "Launch now," General Richards ordered. "Show them what humanity can do." The Phoenix rose from its hangar, water-powered quantum engines humming with power that the Watchers had never imagined possible. The ship's hull rippled with patterns of light, its neural network fully alive with human consciousness. James guided it upward, his mind merged with the ship's systems, feeling every particle of air as they rose through the atmosphere. The Watcher ships opened fire with everything they had. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and gravity weapons streaked through space. But the Phoenix danced between them, its human pilot's intuition combined with quantum predictions, making it nearly impossible to hit. "They're trying to hack our systems," Tom reported, watching streams of alien code attack their computers. But the Phoenix's hybrid human-alien technology rejected the intrusion. The ship's quantum processors, now trained to think more like a human brain, treated the hack attempts like a virus and eliminated them. Kate's time had come. "Targeting their lid ship," she announced, using reality distortion weapons. The Phoenix's main weapon powered up, drawing energy from its water tanks. But instead of firing a normal energy beam, it fired a stream of altered space-time. The lead Watcher ship found itself suddenly occupying the same space as its own weapons fire. Physics protested, and reality itself seemed to hiccup. The massive vessel crumpled like paper, its hull twisting into impossible shapes before breaking apart. The remaining two ships spread out, trying to flank the Phoenix. But James had already anticipated their move. He thought about being behind them, and the ship's quantum drive responded. Space folded, and suddenly the Phoenix was behind its attackers, weapons ready. "They're broadcasting a message," Anna reported from her science station. They're calling us thieves and savages. They say we stole their technology and corrupted it." Tom laughed without humor. "We didn't steal anything. We just understood it better than they did." He looked at his readings. The ship's neural network is reaching peak efficiency. It's learning from this battle, getting stronger with every move. The second Watcher ship tried to retreat, but Kate was ready. She fired the reality distortion weapon again, this time creating a bubble of altered space around the enemy vessel. Inside that bubble, time moved 1,000 times slower than normal. The ship was effectively frozen, its crew trapped in a moment of time. The last Watcher ship launched what looked like missiles, but they were unlike anything Earth had seen before. As they approached, they split into thousands of smaller projectiles, each one capable of destroying a normal vessel. But the Phoenix was far from normal. Its predictive shields created a web of altered probability around the ship. The missiles found themselves flying through space where the Phoenix had a 0% chance of being. They passed harmlessly through empty air, their targeting systems confused by quantum uncertainty. James counterattacked, using the ship's water-powered engines in a way the Watchers had never imagined possible. The Phoenix generated a field of pure quantum energy, using Earth's most common molecule as a source of unimaginable power. The enemy ship's shields, designed to stop normal weapons, were useless against this new form of attack. The battle was over in minutes. 2 Watcher ships were destroyed, one trapped in a time bubble, and humanity had just announced itself as a major power in the galaxy. But they all knew this was just the beginning. "More ships are coming," Anna reported, watching her long-range sensors. "They're calling for reinforcements. And," she paused, checking her readings, "they're talking about something called the Swarm, saying we've ruined everything by not playing our part." General Richards's voice was steady when he responded. "So that was their plan. Give us a broken ship, wait for us to fix it, then take it back and use us as cannon fodder against their real enemy." He was quiet for a moment. "Well, their plan just backfired. The Phoenix isn't their weapon anymore. It's humanity's shield." Through his neural link, James could feel the ship's systems integrating everything they had learned from the battle. The quantum processors were adapting, evolving, becoming even more attuned to human thought patterns. The Phoenix wasn't just a warship anymore. It was becoming something entirely new. "We need to prepare," Tom said, looking at the battle damage reports. There weren't any. The ship had performed perfectly. "They'll be back with a bigger fleet, and they'll tell the Swarm about us too. Earth is about to become the center of a galactic war." Kate smiled grimly at her weapons display. "Let them come. We've got oceans of fuel, technology they can't understand, and a ship that thinks like we do. They wanted to use us as pawns in their war. Instead, they created a whole new player." The Phoenix hung in Earth orbit, its hull glowing with power, its systems humming with human consciousness, and alien technology working in perfect harmony. The Watchers had given humanity a floating coffin, thinking they could use humans as tools in their war. Instead, they had given Earth exactly what it needed to become a force they never imagined possible. And this was just the beginning. News of the battle spread across the galaxy faster than light. The story of how humans had transformed a discarded warship into something unprecedented caught the attention of every spacefaring race. The Watchers' reputation for superiority crumbled as reports spread of their defeat at the hands of a primitive species. 3 months after the first battle, Earth had changed dramatically. The Phoenix's technology sparked a revolution in human engineering. Every major nation began building their own hybrid ships, combining Earth's water-powered quantum drives with human-conscious neural networks. Tom stood in the new Global Space Command Center, watching dozens of ships under construction in orbit. Each vessel incorporated lessons learned from the Phoenix, but none could match the original. The first ship's quantum processors had evolved too far, becoming something unique in the galaxy. "The swarm is moving," Kate announced during a morning briefing. Long-range sensors showed massive fleet movements in distant systems, but they're not attacking the Watchers anymore. They're pulling back, fortifying their borders. James, looking more comfortable than ever in his captain's uniform, studied the tactical displays. "They're afraid," he said simply. "The Watchers wanted to use us against them, but now they're worried about us instead." His neural link with the Phoenix had grown stronger over the months, giving him insights into spatial movements that normal sensors couldn't detect. The Watchers hadn't given up easily. They had sent fleet after fleet to reclaim their gift, but each attack failed. The Phoenix's reality-warping weapons and predictive shields proved unbeatable, and each battle made the ship stronger. Its quantum processors learned from every encounter, developing new strategies that even its human crew couldn't have imagined. But the greatest change came from the other alien species who had lived under the Watcher's shadow. The first diplomatic contact came from the Builders, a peaceful race known for their engineering skills. They had watched the humans transform the Phoenix and saw an opportunity for change. "We've lived in fear of the Watchers for centuries," the Builder ambassador told them. "They hoarded advanced technology, keeping other species dependent on them. But you humans did something unprecedented. You made their technology better." More allies followed. The Explorers, the Star Weavers, and even some breakaway factions of the Watchers themselves came to Earth. They brought knowledge, resources, and a desire to learn humanity's unique approach to technology. Earth became a center of innovation in the galaxy, where alien and human sciences merged in new and exciting ways. Anna's research team made perhaps the most important discovery yet. They found that the Phoenix's quantum processors could be adapted to solve problems beyond space combat. The ship's ability to manipulate reality could be used to clean polluted worlds, restore dying stars, and even prevent natural disasters. "We're not just building weapons anymore," she explained to a council of Earth's leaders. "We're creating tools that could help every species in the galaxy." Her team had already used a scaled-down version of the reality distortion technology to clean up Earth's most polluted regions. The swarm, it turned out, wasn't the mindless enemy the Watchers had described. They were a collective of organic mechanical beings who had also rejected Watcher dominance. When their ambassadors finally came to Earth, they'd brought an unexpected proposal. "We fought the Watchers because they tried to control all advanced technology," the swarm representative explained. "But you humans have shown there's another way. You don't hoard knowledge, you improve it and share it. We want to learn from you." Tom found himself working with Builder and Swarm engineers, developing new applications for the water-powered quantum drives. The sight of former enemies working together in Earth's orbital shipyards became common. Humanity's greatest strength, it seemed, wasn't just improving technology. It was bringing people together. The Phoenix itself underwent one final transformation. Its neural network, evolved through countless battles and interactions with its human crew, developed something close to true consciousness. It didn't just respond to commands anymore. It offered suggestions, pointed out opportunities its crew had missed, and even showed concern for their well-being. "It's like having another crew member," James said, describing the change to General Richards. "The ship doesn't just understand us now. It thinks with us, dreams with us. Sometimes I think it knows what we need before we do." Kate's weapon systems were transformed into tools of peace. The same technology that could bend reality to destroy enemy ships could also be used to protect colonies from space radiation, guide ships safely through dangerous regions, and even help terraform new worlds. The Watchers made one last attempt to regain control. They launched their entire remaining fleet against Earth, hoping to overwhelm humanity's defenses through sheer numbers. But they had waited too long. Earth's orbital shipyards now housed hundreds of hybrid vessels, each powered by water and guided by human consciousness. The battle that followed wasn't really a battle at all. The Phoenix led Earth's fleet in a display of power that changed the galaxy forever. Reality itself danced around the human ships as they moved in perfect coordination, their quantum shields and processors working in harmony. The Watcher fleet found itself trapped in a web of altered spacetime, unable to fight or flee. "Surrender," James broadcasted to the Watcher ships. "Your time of dominance is over. The galaxy doesn't need masters, it needs partners." The Watchers, faced with technology they could no longer comprehend, had no choice but to accept. In the years that followed, humanity expanded throughout the stars. But they didn't conquer or control. They collaborated. Every world they visited, every species they met, added something new to their understanding of the universe. The Phoenix, once meant to be humanity's coffin, had instead become a symbol of transformation and hope. Tom often found himself standing in the Phoenix's observation deck, watching Earth's lights shine below. The ship that had started everything now served as humanity's flagship, not of war, but of exploration and diplomacy. Its hull still rippled with patterns of light, but they seemed softer now, more inviting. "We did more than survive," he told a group of young engineers one day. "We showed the galaxy a new way forward." The Watchers thought they were giving us a coffin, but they really gave us a key to unlock humanity's greatest gift, our ability to take something broken and make it into something beautiful. The Phoenix hummed quietly around them, its consciousness touching their minds with gentle approval. Above them, the stars beckoned, no longer distant and threatening, but full of possibility. Humanity had taken its place among the stars not as conquerors or servants, but as innovators and peacekeepers. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, other discarded ships waited to be transformed, other worlds waited to be helped, and other mysteries waited to be understood. The story that began with a gift had become something much greater, a new chapter in the history of not just humanity, but of all intelligent life in the galaxy.